I'm Michael McCann. I have the pleasure of being joined by a man who needs very little introduction here on Transfer Deadline Day, Peter Reid. Good evening, Peter.
Good evening, Michael.
So, to start from the top, when you look back on your career, are you more proud of your achievements as a player or a manager?
Well, it's always difficult because I think first and foremost, playing is the best. You know, you go into management when you can't play. You know, when the legs go, the brain's still there, but the legs go. So, even though I had ups and downs in my playing career with injuries where I was out a long time, certainly, you know, I'd give £1 million now to go back and be fit enough to play 90 minutes on a football pitch. So, playing was for me the ultimate. I mean, I still try and knock about in five-a-sides, and it's hard work. But
and if you were given that $1 million, would Everton still be that number one club to go back to of anyone?
Yeah, I think when you have success, I mean, I started at Bolton Wanderers and played for some really big clubs, Man City, but Everton, we had a lot of success, and it's if you like, that's my team. Yeah.
And people often forget, given everything that's going on at the minute, we're here in a central London pub with a big razzmatazz about Transfer Deadline Day, the clubs who aren't in that Premier League and aren't near that top. Do you think more needs to be done to protect Football League clubs and those below in terms of the finances of football at the minute?
For me, yeah. I mean, it's a lifeblood. I mean, clubs like Plymouth, we mentioned before, just off, I was going to say off camera, but off voice, Plymouth, Bury, you know, Oldham. You know, when you look through the history of football, these clubs are the lifeblood, and the communities as well. Besides the football part of it, it's the community side of it, and I think there should be a fairer spread of the money down there. You know what, MK Dons are getting a few quid for selling a player nowadays, and that's good. It'll keep them going, but certainly in terms of wealth, you know, I think the gap is always widening between the Premiership and the other Football League clubs.
And at the minute, it's roughly 5% from that Premier League TV deal that goes to grassroots football at the bottom. Is that enough? It's been a huge campaign on Twitter about this, that you've been seen to be...
I have, yeah. Well, patently, in my opinion, it's not enough. I understand football clubs are big business. I mean, the model of the Premiership has been... It works commercially. But has the Bundesliga got it right, where the fans own 50% of the clubs and it gets passed down? I don't know, that's open for the debate. But one thing that isn't open to debate is that we've got to get facilities, good facilities for our kids to play on week in and week out.
And when you look back on your time at Plymouth, obviously troubled for many reasons, you must be delighted to see the club at least somewhat solid.
No, yeah. I mean, it was a precarious time. The club looked as though it could go to the wall, which for the club, I mean, I played there for Bolton Wanderers and went there many a times, and it was always a passionate club, and as you know, and you know, it's way down there. I think it's is it the A38 after you get off the M5 that goes on for ages, and the Plymouth fans, and I've got to say, they are fantastic. The away support they get, and they have to travel so long, so many miles, and it's their team. I think they're a credit to football. And when you talk about a fairer share of money, I think Plymouth Argyle are a great example, because it keeps it going in Devon and Cornwall, keeps football going around that area. I mean, obviously Exeter's in Devon as well, so I don't want to upset everyone down there in Torquay. So it's just a great part of the country, and believe it or not, well, I know and you know, it's a great football part of the country as well.
And on lower league clubs, as an advocate of the FA Cup, and certainly someone who doesn't need telling how important it was, you must have been delighted by that set of results that very much set the big boys back in their tracks.
Well, I was in India doing the Super League, and my brother is manager of Warrington Town, who beat Exeter. I mean, nothing against Exeter, but I thought that was the magic of the FA Cup, you know, and when you get some results like Borough going to Man City and getting results, and you know, Chelsea getting beat home by Bradford, I think that's what the FA Cup's about. And you know, the Premier League clubs are strong and big clubs, but I just think there's a magic about are the FA Cup, and long may it continue. Long may it continue.
And results like that are nice because it reminds people, dare I say it without meaning to make you sound like an older gentleman, it reminds people in the younger generation of that speciality of the FA Cup, so that it doesn't get lost.
Well, I mean, I was at the game when Wigan beat Manchester City in the final, and it's still that belief that a team, you know, a team that's not one of the big ones can go in and win a major final. And whatever anyone says about the FA Cup, and I know certain teams don't put the best teams out, it's still an absolutely fantastic competition.
And do you think the fact you've got people these days say when Wigan won that FA Cup saying, oh well, they'd have rather have stayed up, do you think that's a disrespect to the FA Cup, and that these days really winning a trophy is a lot more important?
No, without a doubt, because hey, they failed to stay up, but at the end of the day they've won the FA Cup. I just think you take what you have. I mean, hey, listen, in football, you know, you get winners and losers. That day, I'll tell you now, you go and ask Wigan Athletic fans what they think of that day, and it'll be the best day of their lives.
And another of your former clubs, Everton, what do you make of everything going on there? Not the best season.
Well, I think you've had a couple of injuries to influential players. I think McAteer's been a miss. I think Bezic's been a good buy. Looks a decent player. Lukaku, I still think he'll get better. It hasn't been a great season, whether it's because they're in the Europa League. Some people say, I'm not one of them. I think as many competitions as you want, get in there. There's a good result at Palace, but as all Evertonians know, next Saturday is a massive game, so come on you Blues.
And Kevin Mirallas, a man who is being much discussed, the penalty, the transfer, do you think most Evertonians, given his obvious talent, would be actually really disappointed to see him go?
Well, listen, you know, I was at the game, the West Brom game, when this happened. If I was Leighton Baines, I'd have said, give me it. But I don't mind players having an argument about things like that. I think it's good, you know what I mean? And all this stuff we read by journalists and on the TV about, oh no, he shouldn't have done it. He's took the ball, he was confident to put it in, he missed it. Move on.
Thank you very much for your time.
Cheers.